In this bag, I have a club that could put an end to long irons in golf sets forever. Hi everyone, my name's James and welcome back to this YouTube channel. Today we have the Callaway ELYTE Hybrid. Now this isn't just any Callaway ELYTE Hybrid, this is a 5 hybrid. So it's rocking in at 25 degrees. And I've never actually really tried anything like this apart from the full sets, if you remember the kind of 11 clubs, if you remember the Callaways where they went right up to a 7 hybrid last year. But look, I think that looks really, really good. We have a 3 gram weight in the heel, a 13 gram weight in the toe. We can, of course, change those around if you want to put it on a draw or a fade setting. You're amazed by this, aren't you?
Yeah, I've never seen one that looks like that.
Now, I honestly think that this is designed just to make golf a little bit easier, make it more accessible for people. So we're going to test it today out here in the golf course and, of course, for some numbers to see if it could be that club for, say, 200 yards or something like that. And for you guys at home, maybe 160, 170, 180, 210, 220, who knows? But I've also got a 25 degree lofted 5 iron. So we're going to test it against that as well and see potentially if it is more forgiving, if it does go longer. Shaft length-wise, I haven't even checked this, but I would imagine it's a little bit longer because it is, of course, a hybrid and it's that graphite shaft. So this should give it this. That shaft length should give it a little bit more club head speed, so resulting in more ball speed and a touch more distance. But it's not really the distance I'm interested in, it's more that air of forgiveness. I've hit that 5 iron quite well today actually as well, so let's see how we go. But immediately looking down at this club especially, I feel like it gives you so much more, give you confidence. That's it, Bob. That's why you're here, Bob. Right. So first of all, nice high ball flight. Look at that go. Now I've actually caught that a little bit bottomy and it's really spun up into the air, and that could potentially be a drawback of a club like this, a negative of a club like this. Another drawback of potentially this club, RRP. How much do you think RRP is, Bob? 299 RRP. You can get it for 269. I've looked online, so they can go down a little bit, but straight away there, you saw how easy that was to launch. So for a lot of golfers around the world, that could be a massive bonus for you if you struggle getting the long irons up in the air. Now, long irons, I think you need an air of versatility with long irons, whatever standard of golfer you are. So can we move it back in the stance and play a bit more of a... Yeah, that's everything I want from a club like this. It's doing what I want it to do. It's gone nice and high with the first shot. The second one's gone nice and low. You can see with the turf interaction there that we've really kind of pressured that off the tee down into the turf, and it's done what we want it to do. Now, the amount of adjustability in this club, I think is really interesting because for a 5 hybrid, it's not going to be everyone's most important club in the bag because you're not going to hit it that often, you wouldn't think, in a round of golf. But you can see we do have the option to change not only the loft, but the lie angle as well. That is massive because if you're changing the lie angle of your hybrid, it can really determine what shot shape you get. There's no iron alive that you can do that with. And that for me is probably why we have that price on it. You can see here, we just have a Tacoma 201 5 iron. I've brought this out because, to be honest, we've already done some videos with it today, but also because it's exactly the same loft. So quite a strong 5 iron, as you can imagine. How far up this hole does it go comparable to the hybrid? Let's find out. That was a lovely strike. This might be a lot closer than what everyone's thinking. Guys, comment below. Could you see yourself using one of these, and what specs would you have it in? Would you change the loft? Would you change the weights? Would you change the lie? You can change everything. So some really interesting results here straight off the bat with the hybrid, because very, very consistent, and that's one of the areas which I think the hybrid is massively designed for. It's designed to have that consistency, whether or not the ball gets airborne, whether or not you've played it down, and whether or not it's gone the distance you want it to go. Now, the 5 iron that we hit, even though it's got a shorter shaft length and the same loft, it's a bit further up. Now, I did strike that really, really well, so I was pleased with that as a result, but I didn't think this would be where this test was going. We're going to test it a bit more out the rough and in the fairway and see potentially just what's happening with this hybrid and if you should go hybrid or long iron in 2025, because I think people are wanting to make the game of golf a lot easier for themselves, and this should potentially do that, as you saw with those 2 ball flights. Right, so out of the rough, This is where hybrids can really come into their own, and especially with a long iron can get snagged up in the rough a little bit. It can grab hold of the hosel and it can go immediately left. But 200 yards out, flag's tight right. We're not going to go at the flag. The big thing is, can we carry that bunker that's front of the green? So if we can do that twice with the hybrid, then you have to really kind of take your hat off to it. That's such a good ball flight, isn't it? So we actually spent some time on, oh, look at that. Back edge of the green, that's perfect. We actually spent a little bit of time on was it the Seniors Tour, the Pro-Am? It was Legends Tour, that was it. And we're talking to some of the guys like Paul Lorien. They were like, look, we're just trying to make the game a little bit easier, and more lofted hybrids and more lofted woods are certainly what those guys are putting in the bag. Now, I've struck that really, really well, actually. I've surprised myself a little bit. But that's certainly a tour that we can all learn from, because those guys are maybe losing a little bit of power, but they certainly don't want to be losing distance and don't want to be losing anything that can potentially harm their game or harm their scorecards. I can't believe how far that's gone. More loft certainly helps. Look at that. Now that, if that carries that bunker, I'll be shocked. Oh! It's lit right, so for context, that's literally pitched a millimetre into that bunker, hasn't it? That was unlucky. But for it to go that high and almost cover it, I'm quite impressed with. I was thinking that might land short of it. So one thing this is doing is it's launching nice and high. It's certainly spinning a lot more than a 5-iron would, but it still seems to be going the distance out here on the golf course. Yes, the 5-iron went a little bit further off the tee, but here out of the rough, where it can get quite difficult, I think it's certainly done a job for us. Now with the 5-iron, I all of a sudden don't feel as confident because they were both really, really accurate as well. Well, I've hit that semi-okay. Go on then. That might go in. That's right. That went really, really well. I don't really know what to say with that. That just went really, really well, didn't it? Still pleased with the hybrid though. So that hybrid's got desperate and lucky. It's literally pitched in like the top rivet and then come back. So realistically, that would have been a pretty good distance. I mean, it is a good distance. We found another ball somehow. It's a strange one. Anyway, but is that ours? Oh, that's ours. That's not ours. I don't know whose that is. But it's still pitched here and then kind of come back, as you can see there. Distance-wise, with the iron and the hybrid, like the one that carried the bunker, exactly the same. I'm not gonna lie, I did say we're not going at that flag, and I wasn't going at that flag. I leaked it right a little bit. My line was over this bunker, so it's done okay. But as you can see, the hybrid all day long is probably the shot there to have, just not in the face of that bunker. Okay guys, let's talk some numbers for this Callaway ELYTE 5 Hybrid Golf Club, because so far on the golf course, I'm really impressed with this. I'm impressed with its consistency, but also its forgiveness levels. So, what can we expect to see here in the studio? Around 200, Bob? So straight away, a really nice, easy to flight golf shot. Spinning at 5,000, so lots of spin. And that's pitched at 190 and released down to 200 quite nicely there. Nice shot, wasn't it, Bob? It was a nice shot, really easy to launch. That one was a little bit lower. I bet it's going to be similar, you know, 190-ish. 187.2, 199 total. So we're getting some decent numbers already with the first two shots with this, and I'm not necessarily trying to hit this as physically hard as possible. I don't think that's the point with a club like this. I think it's just make a turn. I tried to hit that one really soft. But that would have been a shank with an iron. Another nice, easy flighted one. Spinning at 4.5, so good spin numbers. 192. So the consistency when you actually hit it good, or hit it okay, is very, very good. That front to back, it's like 2 or 3 yards, which is nice. It's good, it's what you want. And they're all pretty central as well. I imagine that's a 193 carry. Or is it a bit more? 192.8. And I always know that when I'm calling these out in the air, that's when I know that a club's performing as I want it to. It's giving me that air of consistency that we know we want. Oh, that's a bottomy one. What's that one giving us? 170 odd, 180? 182. So you do lose 10 yards with a particularly bad strike, but what about a 5 iron? Because we know that a lot of people are using 5 irons that probably shouldn't. And that's as good as I can hit a nice normal 5 iron. 176. Right, let's jump back outside. Let's see just if this could be the club for you, if it could be the club for me, and if it could even be the club for Bobby. So off the fairway now, or off the deck, should we say, what kind of differences are we going to see here? And you may have seen with the numbers, really, if you want to have that element of forgiveness, the hybrid's always going to be the one. I think the 5 iron for me, obviously we've spoken about long irons and hybrids before, we've spoken about 4 irons and 3 irons and 2 irons, but 5 iron's a funny one, because I would imagine most golfers still have a 5 iron in their bag, and certainly a 6 iron in the bag. You can get this in a 6 as well, and I think the only issue is it's probably going to get quite expensive, especially with obviously the adjustability and things in these clubs. Let's set one out now with the 5 iron, and then we'll go as they lie, Bob, just like that, and then we'll go hybrid. And that, why has that gone there? That's unbelievable. Right. Nice mid-flighted shot. We're not going to try and flight it down or up. And that's just a nice 5 iron. That's everything I want. Lovely turf interaction. Bullet straight as a shot. And that's just trundling down there. So if we can get now a shot, well, 2 shots with this hybrid that launch nice. I want them to launch consistently. I've not had 2 shots with this club that's not one gone really high and one gone a little bit lower. So I do want that element of consistency, and we have been quite accurate with this, so I'm quite happy with that so far. That's good, isn't it? Really, really nice turf interaction there. Felt solid, sounded good, and I think they're pretty much next to each other, are they? I think it's drawn a little bit more, which you would maybe anticipate it would, but really happy with that as a shot. And I do feel like with a lofted hybrid, you learn more as you go along with it. And I think certainly if you're going to go and get one of these, I'd try and get fitted for it, or at least go and see your coach or your pro and have a mess around with the lie angle especially, because the lie angle I think is the most important factor here. And I think it's probably why they can charge what they charge for them, and still people will spend their money. Now they're as consistent as it gets, aren't they? That's certainly gone higher. How's it going to pitch? It does sound really good, doesn't it? Right, let's get down there and see where they are, because that's probably as good a test as any for just with 3 nice struck good shots, how they're going to result and how they're going to finish. But all in all, I have to say with this Elite 5 hybrid, I opened the video saying, could it be the end of long irons forever? I don't think it is for everyone, but I think it could be for a lot of people. So as we can see, the results there, pretty identical with the balls that have landed on the fairway. The final shot we hit just pitched in the rough, and that slowed it down with its resulting roll. But for me, to have those shots so close together, but also have that element of forgiveness with the hybrid, I think is really, really impressive, even for that price. Guys, if you've enjoyed that, thank you so much. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button. And apart from that, I'll see you all tomorrow. I was going to say very soon, but it's every day, isn't it?
It's every day.
Every day. Every day.